Hey guys, another little comparison video that I wanted to do between the Convoy M21B with the green LED, the CSLPM1F1 LED, and having a look at that compared to my Convoy M2. So I think this is an important comparison because they're both roughly the same size. The M21B is, it's bigger, definitely feels a little chunkier in the pocket, but they are both designed as throwers. But there are also some significant differences. So I think some of you might prioritize throw visibility. Some of you still want that, decent throw, but you want it to be more pocketable, maybe a little bit easier to carry around and use for different purposes as well, not just spotting. So let's go through what you get with both. Now, basically with Convoy, you don't really get all too much. And here, I was actually surprised that the M2 came with its own clip, and you've got this nice little stainless steel bezel as well. The batteries came separately, so I had to purchase batteries separately with these flashlights. So if you open up the back of the flashlight, you'll see basically it just goes in as usual. So this one takes a 21700 cell battery. That's the M21B. The M2 takes an 18650 cell, smaller battery, and so that's why the M2 is generally, a little bit smaller, easier in the pocket, especially the battery tube, of course. Great design and build quality, especially I like these cooling fins here at the front. They help dissipate heat, especially in such a small host. I find them to be quite effective. Anodization, the overall anodization is nice and smooth. You've got this matte black finish on both of them. The machining is great as well. Got a few little scuffs and stuff because I actually dropped a flashlight on top of this one the other day. But, I don't really baby my lights at the end of the day. They're both, you can disassemble them both pretty easily. So basically just unscrew the heads. This one here is a little bit more tricky because you have to take out the bezel and then pop out the reflector from there. But other than that, it's pretty much the same. You can unscrew the entire head, have a look at the driver, take off the tail cap. You can even flip the battery tube around, I think. So, in terms of disassembly, modifications, Convoy is really good for that. Now, the battery is something you need to know is if you're new to flashlights, there is no onboard charging. You're going to have to get an external charger, or you're going to have to get some kind of battery with USB charging capability. So they're usually actually batteries that have a little port there that you plug in. So yeah, a couple of options there. Convoy do not offer onboard charging. As you can see, the M2 is a little bit smaller, and we can do some measurements. So lengthwise, 13.5 centimeters versus about 14 and a bit centimeters. So a little bit longer, but the main difference comes in the actual bezel size. So 35 millimeters for the M21B. And if we look at the M2, that's about 31 millimeters. So it might not seem like a big difference, 4 millimeters, but it does feel like a bit of a difference when you have it in your pocket, especially. It does make a difference. You can't feel this one as much. Okay, so definitely if you're looking for a light that's just a little bit smaller, still has extremely good throw, the M2 is a great option for that. There's also some different drivers as well available. So we look at the LEDs up close. The M2 has a CULPM1 emitter here on the right, CULPM1 KW, so it's a white emitter. The one on the left is the green, CSLPM1. And the white area around it is the area that sort of attaches to the heatsink. And it's a little bit larger on the CULPM1. Some people think that it actually increases heat transfer, but at 6 amps, I find this to be a very good option. Get the 6 amp driver rather than the 8 amp. I find the 6 amp driver just is a lot cooler to run. You can run the light on 100% and it will do the job. You won't need to you won't have any issues holding the light and it getting like too super hot in your hands. I found that with the 8 amp version of the CULPM1, it's just too hot. But for the green version, fantastic. I can leave that on. The heat does travel down the light a little bit and gets to, close to 40 degrees near the top there, but it doesn't increase any further, basically. So it's pretty good. As you can see with the lenses, they're both just glass AR anti-reflective lenses. Bezel design's a bit different. Did mention that before. Stainless steel bezel. This one's a bit tougher, okay, and this one's just made of aluminium and cut out, whereas this one just actually screws into the head. Okay, both are smooth reflectors, quite deep reflectors as well. In fact, just having a look at no, they're about the same. I thought the M2 might be have a slightly deeper reflector, but they're actually quite similar. It's just that the M21B has a wider reflector, so this one's going to throw further just by that fact alone. So looking at the UI and modes, standard Convoy, you've got whole bunch of mode groupings. I've chosen the mode grouping that has 5 modes, so 0.1, 1%, 10%, 30%, and 100%. Okay, but some people might prefer, just a low and high mode. Some people might prefer just a high mode or just some of the lower modes. So it really depends on you, and I like that Convoy include quite a few of these mode groupings to choose from. I think there's even a bike mode in there as well. So in terms of overall output, the M21B does smoke the M2 in terms of overall output. The green emitter just produces more light at the same number of amps, and these are both driven at 6 amps each. And the beam profiles are quite similar. At the end of the day, you've just got that large, intense hotspot combined with a softer spill, but a nice and nice sort of blended spill around the outside as well. It's even, and definitely both are quite practical to carry around. So it really depends on what you're looking for. If you value a flashlight that's a little bit smaller and you want it to have a normal color so that you can recognize objects, the color of the objects is important to you rather than visibility, I'd say get this one, the M2. But if you want to maximize throw and efficiency, visibility, get the M21B. If you can put up with the green light, okay, definitely get that one. I have both, so really I couldn't decide. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments. I'll get back to you. If you like this video and it helped you out, do me a favor and click the like button. Just helps my videos get out to more people. Doesn't cost you anything. And if you want to see me make more reviews, make sure you subscribe. Alright, little comparison video. I'm going to be comparing the Convoy M2 with the CULPM1.TG and the Convoy M21B with the CSLPM1.F1 emitter, which is green colored. So you'll be able to tell which is which by the colors. Here you got the M2. Pretty decent throw for such a little flashlight. And here you've got that M21B with the green emitter. And wow. I mean, look at that tree just ahead here. Significantly more illumination with the green LED. Let's look at this taller tree there. Same thing. Little area down the back there. The green beam just lights up that little area of the tree line right in the back. But the M2 still lights that area up, but more difficult to see. That's the thing with these green LEDs, they just produce so much light, and eyes are more sensitive to that light as well. So even look at the back, little areas at the back there underneath the trees, you can make out so much of what's going on under those trees. It's even, to me it looks more visible than the white light for some reason. Not sure why, but it just seems to pick up some additional little shadows. But again, it is throwing further. And especially if you're out, and don't want to disturb the animals, or you sort of want to be a bit more covert around them. The green LED is apparently pretty good because a lot of animals can't see green light apparently. So yeah, you can see the M2 is really starting to ramp down a lot at this stage, struggling to compete with the green. But the green is getting really hot. The M21B with the F1 is getting pretty hot, but I've just used this as well for another test, so I'm sure even
if it was a little more cooler, it would probably even throw further than this. Will definitely throw further than this. So it's doing quite well. But really, I mean, you get a lot more throw. Another couple 100 meters of throw, I'd say. And from closer range, it's a lot more obvious